Good afternoon. I'm here to talk about how I'm working. You might learn something from it, you might not. It's just my strange way of working. And I'll try to back it up with numbers. But before that, for anyone that doesn't know me, I'm a little bit at Wix. I'm a CTO at Wix Enterprise. I've built the app market, I've built the dev platform. Depending on how you count, 16 official years, 20 since I interviewed the first developer to Wix. So I'm a little bit of time in Wix. And this is actually my heat map from GitHub. And it shows that something is happening in the last few months, but actually you see that better in this graph. So this is my graph of code commits. Lines added, lines removed, lines changed. I remember that almost 10 years ago, I actually checked those figures for the developers in my team. And the average developer would change 3,000 lines of code per month. One specific developer, Gil Tayar, some of you might know him, was changing 9,000 lines of codes per month. Here, in the last 3 months, I'm changing over 100,000 lines of code, and I know what's going on into my code. So that's pretty amazing. So let's talk about what's going on here. The problem that we see a lot of time working with AI, obviously I'm working with AI, but problem that we see a lot of time working with AI is the context, is that AI forgets what's happening. And when you load too much on the AI, it gets confused, and again, becomes less effective. And I have found a way that helps me solve this problem. And that way was actually, I call it design log. It was actually a way that I first started using to help myself understand what's going on in my projects, because I was keep forgetting what's going on. And it sounds really silly. I have a design log folder in my project. I write in documents that are a snapshot in time. That I know I'm never going back to update those documents. They're just about what I'm going to build. And they kind of act as a brain of why I did things in the project. And I have basically a very simple workflow. I'm writing a very simple prompt to the AI, like, I want to add this feature. Now, what happens is that at that point, my agent reads the design logs, all of the history. It actually doesn't have to read all the history. There's an index file. But it reads the relevant documents from the history. And then it creates a new document. It tells me what is its best suggestion of how to build a new feature. At that point, we review. We're doing a review of the suggestion and the plan that the AI has written. And that part can take some time. And when I tell it to go, OK, so the review is done, go and build. There's zero drift. Why? First, we have a very good plan. We have the why, how, verification, and so on. The AI has to go back to that plan all the time because it also appends results and deviations into that plan. So there's a working file. At last, I'm doing a code review to see that whatever that AI has did makes sense. Sounds like I'm doing lots of review, right? And still I'm working way faster. The figure is 12.7 times faster than I used to. The most important part, and I'm going to expand on it a little bit, or actually I'm going to show you an example of it, is this part of the design. And this is where the AI hands over to me a document to review. And one of the things that the agent is required to do is to ask questions. Have you ever tried telling your agent, ask me questions? When you do that, it starts giving you really good questions that are really starting to challenge what you had in mind. And then we start a process of answering those questions and refining and getting a better and better plan. So this is, for me, the most important part because it prevents problems from happening before we even start coding. So in order to make it simple, because I'm lazy, so I wrote a rule to the agent to take care of all of this process themselves. And the rules is basically read before you write, then ask questions, then design, let me review it. The history is immutable. You never go back to update it because it's also important to know what failed and why we made a decision to do something in a different way. And it's also the why we're building stuff, not only the how we're going to build stuff. And at last, it's the traceable implementation, which is anytime we have a bug, anytime we deviate from the plan, we append it in the design log. So all of that sounds very, very technical. So I'm going to go and show some things here about it. So first, it's not documentation. Documentation tries to be up to date, explain what's going on in the system. We know documentation is never up to date. We're not even trying to be up to date. We're just trying to capture history. Second, it's not plan mode. Now, you know plan mode, obviously, right? Using plan mode. Plan mode is kind of obsolete, if I have to say. And let me show you an example to explain why. In my project, the project I'm working on, J, it is a web framework that is targeting for the AI designer. And we are building a real site for a customer, and we wanted to capture the way we're working and build that. And we started joking with a name for it, the AI editor. Anyway, as we started to do that, we had a great idea. Let's create an unfold mode where we see the website spread like in Figma. That was a great idea. We started exploring that. Plan mode actually gave us a great plan. It involved changing the compiler. It involved changing the runtime. It was super complex. It involves lots of different steps. But then when we did a review, quite a lot of review, we understood that that would have led us to a disaster. And we actually figured out a much, much, much simpler plan, which was instead of unfolding into a freeze. And this is how it looks like on the timeline. The idea to go and build something was last Sunday. We started the design process. The plan mode was on Tuesday. We closed the design on Thursday. We actually did 2 days of iterations of understanding about this specific feature, and then the implementation was less than a day. And I'm going to show you how it looks like. So we have a customer project. This is on Wix by the way, and they wanted that the fourth item in the gallery will have take double width. So we're opening our AI editor, which was built last week. We mark what the change we want to do. We tell it what is the change, make the fourth item in the gallery to take double width. And what this thing does, this connects to my local Claude. And Claude gets the instruction. It gets it in a way that it works, and it starts crunching. Now, this site is connected on Wix stores, and it gets the data from Wix stores, the variants are working, all the different options are working there. We have live preview, obviously, and it just did the change. And then when we open the AI editor itself in the AI editor, and we want to change it and add the icon, because we don't have a logo, so this is actually our editor editing itself. And again, we send it to Claude, it does the work, and we have the icon at the top. So that's from idea to video, it was a week. So why I'm saying that plan mode is wrong? Plan mode was written, was built for waterfall. When you know everything, you know what you want to build, throw it into plan mode, you'll get a good solution because it will crunch and build stuff. But it doesn't give you the feedback that you're building the wrong stuff. It does give you the feedback that what you're building is way too complex. when you're working on a design document and do iterations to get those feedbacks. So that is why I'm saying that with design log, you're powered for the AI, agentic dev workflow, and not for a waterfall. Have you heard about spec-driven design? This is also a big name that's going on. Spec-driven design is, again, not design log. And the reason for it is that with spec-driven design, you try to keep a spec which is the source of truth. It's current, and it can never be current. It will always go stale. And also, you don't keep the history. So you're blind for the history. You're blind for the why. You only have the now. With design log, you have also the history, the why, and what failed. And that also changes the picture. That's also very, very important. So with that in mind, and I know I'm very ahead of time, but cool. So with that in mind, it changes your mindset. I'm not talking about giving instructions. I'm not giving instructions to the AI, go and do. I am using the AI as something that gives me feedback. I'm managing the context that AI is working with using the design log. I use Markdown as that bridge where we capture between us what is the right product we want to build and what is the right plan we want to execute. And that's what makes me work at scale with AI. Design log methodology is actually on GitHub. You can actually copy from there a rule that you just paste into CloudMD or into Cursor, and it just automates your process for you. So it's very easy to adopt. You can be just as lazy as I am. For me, it makes me 12.7 times faster. That's comparing on my code lines. And this is actually a correct figure because the ratio between lines added and lines removed, which is 2:1, is preserved. So it's not just writing just lots of garbage code. And I can tell you that I know each and every line of code in there. I can explain every algorithm. I can explain every idea, everything that's going in this project while being that fast. That's it. Thank you.